Hello and welcome to another episode of Arcane Precision. This is going to be another one of our faction spotlights. Today we're going to be talking about Brinebloods. I'm Kyle, and today I am joined by Andy from Tried and True. Go ahead and say hello, Andy.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, everybody.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I guess War Machine wise, I started playing around 2017 Mark III era. My wife Erica played in Mark 1. She played Circle back then, and then Grimkin were coming out 2017, and she was like, "We need to. There's this game that I used to play, and we need to get back into this." And I was like, "I don't know how this game works." So she played Grimkin. The most degenerate gotcha faction of their time. And I bounced back and forth between like Menoth and Legion and Trollbloods and Cricks and all kinds of stuff. And I settled on Menoth for a while. And now in Mark IV, I've owned full FA of Menoth, Trollbloods, and Legion. Most of that's sold off now, and I am all in on the Briny Boys.
Nice. I believe Erica was saying that you are on the WTC team this year. Is that correct?
We're both on Team 2, correct? With Chris Gunther, Eric Akers, and Nate.
All great people.
Oh yeah, Nate M's funny.
He's a good time. All right. So, how you liking Brinebloods? I mean, you've been on it for 2 years, so you've been through one update with SFG.
I've been high and low on the faction a little bit, but I mean, I've run the gamut. I've mained every caster. I've played every unit. I've built every build of every beast just to see how things tick. And it's I like the battle group is really diverse. The units themselves are really powerful in their own ways, but you're kind of pigeonholed into playing Marauders because that's kind of what the faction's built around. The Marauders are essentially 3 different units put together.
And that's because of the UA options you can take?
Correct. So you could take a Tapper if you want a cheap option for 1 point, which gives the whole unit Stumbling Drunk, but he's got no weapons. You can take a Bosun for 3 points. That makes it better in melee and easier to deliver. Gives them a mini feat of No Quarter and Vengeance on the unit, so they're sort of your marquee melee unit. Or you can attach a Quartermaster to them, which gives them like 1 round of really good shooting with their pistols.
So, what would you recommend to someone who wants to play Brinebloods? Do you think they should pick them up just based on how they look, their rules? Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, I can only really talk about myself. I think their goofy aspect is a breath of fresh air in the game. I feel like all the other factions takes themselves very seriously, and it's really hard to take seriously a giant troll swinging a hammerhead shark at you, saying, "This is a chain weapon. Here it comes."
And I believe it has consume on it, right? Or crit consume?
Apparently that shark's alive. He's going to eat you. Yes.
That's a fun little flavor.
Yeah. From a faction construction standpoint, they're like pillars of meat and potatoes. You have these pillars of, you're probably going to take these in every lists, and you kind of mix it in with flavor. One of the things they did take from old, what was the old pirate faction called? Talion Charter?
Yeah.
So they brought in from old Talion Charter that sort of like, we're full of like utility solos. There are times where I take 8 to 10 solos, a lot of them character models, in one of my lists, which is probably more than any other faction. So if you're a fan of like 3 to 4 point solos that all do all kinds of different stuff, they kind of took that flavor from Talion Charter and put it in this.
So, if someone was getting into it, what would you recommend they like start with to get to like play?
I think like any faction, you're going to probably pick up the battle group box first, which gives you Fire Quill and 2 beasts. You kind of buy that to taste, right? If you want to fill out your whole battle group, you buy a couple of boxes of those. But you could do that. You could do a battle group box and a core box, and that probably gets you everything you need to start playing 50 points or so, and then you can kind of figure out what you want from there. There's now only 1 unit of Marauders in the core box, unfortunately, and most 100-point lists will have 2 to 3 units of Marauders at least in the list. So whether you want multiple things in the core box or not, you're at least going to have to pick up Marauders.
Okay.
I highly recommend the Frog box. The Fire Tongue Warriors is sort of like a very large band-aid over like the most crucial weaknesses of the faction. So I would say Battle Group box, Core box, Frog box are like definites.
Okay, and you think the frog box because it gives you access to the magic weapons?
So the Fire Guardian is kind of essential because without magic weapons, incorporeal models can just win the game against you. You don't really get a chance.
Right.
We're not too much of a spell slinging faction besides Shadow Tongue. And then the Shamans are excellent, and I'm of the opinion the Frogger is the best model in the faction. I think it is the best beast we have, and it's not close.
It's very good. It has utility. It can actually do a good amount of damage, and it's hard to kill. Impervious flesh is no joke, especially if you get an armor buff.
Oh yeah, definitely. 13-15 isn't an amazing stat line, but people always forget. Say you're running it under something like Ragemonger, which gives it unyielding. Then you throw Fortify on it, and all of a sudden somebody comes in. And it's like, yeah, I'm armor 19, impervious flesh. Good luck.
It takes buffs really well, especially for defense on armor side at least.
It's also quite annoying during like something like a Boomhowler feat turn where it's def 15 sitting in your face.
Yeah, that would definitely be annoying. And the warriors, the blood sweats one. What's the name
the
of that
Fugue Walker? Yeah,
Fugue
it's
Walker.
one of our many 4-point solos that tend to get sprinkled into lists.
Those are. I feel like those are really good.
Those are chunky boys. They can they got 10 boxes. They're 13-17 naturally, but they can just depending on the frog they lick every turn. They can be armor 19 just by themselves. They take Storm Rager amazingly well if you're playing Boomhowler. They're one of the very few things in the faction that can give themselves Stumbling Drunk, so Foulblood doesn't hate them because his Stumbling Drunk aura is honestly pretty small. But yeah, they're competing for a lot of the other solo spots. Not that they're not very good. The Fire Spitters, on the other hand, are sort of Marauders again, which is a little bit odd. They have a lot of similarities to Marauders. They do have Pathfinder and Prowl, so they're easier to deliver, but they're a little bit more fragile. And they do have Prey instead of Gang. As a faction, we don't rotate Prey very well because it's hard for us to go into your backline and take the Prey model that's hiding and rotate it to the thing we want. So it's hard for them to get use out of Prey, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of your guns are what, range 8, range 10?
Yeah, I mean the Battle Brig's got a range 12 big giant cannon, but the Battle Brig took quite a few nerfs in January, and I've been trying to make it work for the past couple months, and it's exiting my list currently, unfortunately.
It's such a cool model to see on the table, though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, the utility it had before wasn't even in relation to the guns. It was about the threat of your units being able to be slung across the table. And now that it's just a pile of guns, and it's only speed 7, and it's only repo 5, like you can't. It's much less flexible on what you can do with it, unfortunately. And it's a big chunky 80 mil and gets slammed into your army, which isn't fun.
Right. After the Fire Warrior box, would you recommend Ragemonger or the Auxiliary or the Foulbloods Armada?
I think the Aux box is another good step because it gives you more of the attachments for your Marauders.
Okay.
It's probably important to have maybe, I would say 2 of each, 2 tappers, 2 bosuns, 2 quartermasters, depending on which you prefer flavor wise. I've been leaning on tappers and Marauders in most of my lists. Tappers and bosuns in most of my lists, and then saving the quartermaster or 2 for the Ragemonger list. Ragemonger is a very unique caster in our faction. He's one of those ones he explodes everything and hopes the game's over.
Yeah, I've found that playing against him. It's like he has a very, very brutal feat turn.
Turning 1s into 6s is
It's good.
It's so powerful they weren't allowed to put much else in his kit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun on your feat turn when you roll snake eyes and you're like, "Yep, boxcars it is." It's very cathartic. The foul blood box is is probably the last thing I would pick up because you're probably only going to use a handful of things from it. Foul blood himself is an okay caster. He can find himself in a pairing. And the Lakabash brothers are a nice sometimes food. They're very comparable to like an already loaded up Marauder unit, so they don't need the myriad of buffs that we give the Marauders. They kind of already come with, and you can also buff them again if you really want to turn them into power 20 charging bayonet monsters if you really need it.
Okay, what about the bird and chum? They just don't make the cut, or?
I have a bone to pick with our character beasts, unfortunately. So dire trolls tend to be, when you take them and you want work out of them, they tend to be at minimum 14. They generally tend to be about 15, 16 points. In both of my lists right now, I have 16-point dire trolls that I like better than either of my 16-point character beasts. Chum is really hard to get work done out of if you're not playing something like Shadow Tongue, who can sling perdition and make it so that he walks 5 inches for free. If your opponent is savvy, they can essentially walk Chum out of your control range. If he has any fury on him whatsoever, he will guaranteed frenzy because he has a mighty fury threshold, I think 5.
I guess I did not realize that.
Yeah, so he basically has a threat naturally of 10 inches. He can charge 8 inches and has a 2-inch reach. If your opponent decides to bonk him a couple times with random pistol shots, he will stumble backwards and make that threat less.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like the answer is supposed to be you fortify him so that he can't be pushed, so that he doesn't accidentally stumble. However, if you fortify him, that's like his main survival mechanic. So somebody like Blessing of the Gods, a heavy, they can come in at 1 round Chum very quickly because he's 11-19. It's not not unheard of to just run him over.
No, that's not 30 boxes, I assume.
He's actually got 32. He's got a different box layout than the rest of the dire trolls. His mind is itty bitty.
And then I guess what about your big boy, the Abyssal King?
I think he's fine. I think all the casters like him. He works with everybody. I really love him with Shadow Tongue. Like being able to ghost walk him or sling out Black Spot for more gunshots is very powerful, especially with the myriad of hit fixing buffs we have in the faction. Just having a Mat 8 Colossal at all times is really, really gross.
Yeah. I mean, John was also running 2 with Fire Quill there for a while.
Yeah, he was. I played him with that list at Poker Brawl. He was running the 80 mil too. I think he was running the Battle Brig with it too. He was just like nothing but the fats. I think the issue with it generally is that we have a very hard time protecting it. We have no real way to stop it from being spelled, so it gets debuffed very easily. I have had its armor go down to like 12 before. So
I'm guessing Crix.
No, it was I think it was Infernals. I think it was Agathon.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we're very light on shield guards, so we can't really stop it from being shot at either with quality guns. So it can do work. It's very good. It doesn't need a lot of help to be good. It's just really hard to protect in our faction. That's all.
Okay. And what about any mercs between the solos and the 80 mil juniors and
I think there's a couple of them that are
the balloons?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them that are mandatory, like Boomhowler 4. He is incredible now that they've buffed him. He gives force barrier to a unit, which really helps our very, very fragile units. 12-13 is not a great stat line, man. It really helps them deliver themselves without getting shot with blast damage and just boosted blast damage, just killing most of a unit by itself. Madame Moriarty is the Gatorman caster attachment for us. She is excellent. I can't tell you how many times a crucial puppet master during a turn, or her casting Fury Strength on my caster to increase their personal output without them having to cast it has won me games. She is incredible. The balloons don't do a ton for us. We don't really interact with them entirely all that well. As a faction, we have a lot of internal synergies, and taking points away from those internal synergies tends to feel a little bit bad. Nisak is a fine ambusher off the side. We do have boarding party, which I find to be incredible off the side and very annoying to deal with. What else? I guess the juniors. I haven't really played enough of the juniors. I'm not a huge fan of playing the 20-point packages, so I kind of ignored Magnus and Big Pig and Nostilla so far. I've dabbled in them a little bit, but they're not as flavorful pieces for my faction as I would like, so I kind of steer clear of them for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, because you want more something that's interacting with your stuff than just kind of off doing its own thing.
Mm-hmm. We don't have, as a faction, we don't really have a problem spreading. A lot of the times when you take those modules, it's so that they can sit on one side of the board while your army kind of sits in the other. As a faction, we take up the whole board very quickly with a lot of our fat bodies. It's a lot of medium bases.
Yeah, no, that definitely. When you get 4 units of Marauders on the board, it's a lot.
It's overwhelming for both of us.
So your poor clock.
Sometimes it's my opponent's poor clock too. They gotta roll dice on all of those guys.
That's true. I mean, they do have boxes.
Armor 13 is a bad number, but they do all have boxes.
It is. I mean, essentially think of them as armor 18 then, right?
Yeah, if you want to think about it that way, it's a little bit hard, especially when you're playing somebody like, say, Shadow Tongue, who's kind of using up his boys' boxes by arcing through them.
Yeah.
Making them a little bit easier to kill. But that's the price of doing business with Shadow Tongue.
That's what the dirges are for, isn't it?
Oh, they're so good. The dirges, anytime I have 2 points, I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm going to throw a dirge in here. They are the least committal model at 2 points. They're very expensive, like money-wise, because they're like $35 for like 2 points of model.
Yeah.
But if you can get a couple of them, like I like putting at least one enlist for the marked target, because you can just run it 12 inches and just say all my guns are good here for the low price of 2 points. It's excellent, and it just has tough and steady. So every once in a while, somebody will throw 3 gunshots at it, thinking they'll remove it, and it just kind of sits there and looks at them.
Yeah, for 2 points, that's really nice.
Oh yeah, it's great. It doesn't ever do any work. It has a range 4 gun, so it walks 7 inches and throws a bomb 4, so it threatens 11 inches with its gun from where it was standing. So it very rarely actually does anything. Same thing with the boarding party, but they're both definitely more scenario pieces than they are work models.
I'll say a boarding party has ambush, right?
Oh yeah, ambushing them on the side of the table on scenario like wolves at your heels, where you have like a 40 mil off to the side where they just crowd it out. They can buy you 2 to 3 points in a game if your opponent can't clear them quickly.
Yeah, and then do their weapons have disruption as well, if I recall?
No, that's the pig shockers.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody always forgets they exist. So the boarding party have ambush. They have little grenades that they can throw 8 inches. Anything that doesn't like, they're not accurate, they're Rat 5, but anything that doesn't like getting hit with auto-hitting power 8s with the AoEs, they're fine with throwing at. They have just a plethora of rules. They have annoyance, so they're already def 14, and if you're living in 1 inch of them, they're def 15. They have dodge, so when you miss them, they go somewhere more annoying. And then if you miss them with a gunshot, they can reciprocate, so they can throw bombs back at you. They are just
that's incredible.
They are just a hassle to deal with. Shockers they don't have advanced deploy, they don't have ambush, they don't have annoyance, but they do have CRA, which is interesting. So you can kind of make them more accurate and hit a little harder than the boarding party can. You do kind of have to group them up, unfortunately, and they are only defense 13, armor 12. So any AoEs kind of just sweep them right off the board.
Yeah, no, that's That's pretty low because most blast damage you're talking at least an 8.
Yeah, they do have just straight disruption on their harpoons, so they can be slightly annoying for jacks just to remove the initial power up before people start to empower stuff. And they do have electro leap, so a random power 10 bouncing off of stuff is always nice to have.
Coming from someone who plays Storm Legion, the E-leaps are they're very annoying because people are like, wait, I have to actually position for this, and it takes more time for them to keep their support away.
I always forget that Storm Legion are just immune to all of their own E-leaps. They're just like, no, it doesn't bounce to me. Only bounces to you.
Do they have lightning resist?
They sure don't.
Oh wow, that's rough.
They're little pygmy trolls. They're gonna get shocked. It's fine. That's what they're there for.
Well, at least it can't E-leap back to them. I think it says that in the E-leap rule.
I'd have to check that, but I think you're right. Off the actual shooting model.
Yeah, so at least you got that. Just his buddy's not safe.
None of his friends are safe. This is correct.
So what are the strengths and weaknesses of the faction in the current state that we're in?
I think the faction is extraordinarily strong in quantity of serviceable attacks. We have like, it feels like infinite power 12s coming from like everything. So if you roll enough dice and roll enough power 12s, most things that aren't like heavies will just eventually die. We probably have the best hit fixing in the game, just from stuff like Mark Target, Paralyzing Gaze, Gang, just the Inspiration, Vet Leader. We have all of these things that all compound with each other. And when I charge with a unit of Marauders and I say they're mat 11, my opponent's like, what? Yeah, it's fine. They're mat 11.
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple times. I'm just like, that's insane because it's just like 2 or 3 models and they're mat 11.
Yep, it's crazy. We probably have some of the best anti-gun tech in the game. I wouldn't have said this last year, but the way they changed the faction in January to threaten a lot less in melee, but really sort of dirtle up the board and try and huddle up and not get shot off the board is a different style. We have so many just rough seas, force barrier. They made the duck and cover card free, so that goes into almost every list. Foul Blood has blur, all kinds of stuff that just kind of help everything just not get shot, which is crazy. It's really kind of necessary because our defensive stat lines are so bad that as soon as you do get shot, you kind of get shot off the board. Weaknesses wise, we have no durable infantry at all in the faction. We have no infantry that's going to take a shot to the face and survive it. They don't threaten very far in the melee, and they don't really deliver themselves very well. So on the card, if you just look at the card for all of our infantry, they kind of look like trash. But, there's lots of interlocking pieces that are part of this faction that kind of make them a lot more than what they are on the card. Beast-wise, they're relatively expensive, but they're all good at least a job. Dyers are good beaters. The guns are pretty good. The spray is spray 12, so Crypt Blind spray 12 can win you games if you hit it on the correct turn. I'm kind of in love with the Crabnet right now. The combination of Malgabaza plus a Crabnet heavy can just really annoy people. Where it's like, I'm going to walk up, knock some stuff down, and then ancillary attack and spread the knockdown to other stuff, which is funny.
Yeah, I forgot you had an auxiliary attack.
She a lot of the time she'll be enlivening so that the range 8 gun doesn't just get your heavy killed automatically, but the options are there. Reef Trolls are decent. They don't really have a lot of builds that casters really want, unfortunately. It's mostly just a shield guard 8-point shooting cannon guy who sits in the back and babysits your caster and scores a 50 maybe, or like the cheap saber 7-point or so dude who is just there to give your caster lightning strike. Not much else.
Hey, 8 points for a shield guard is seems a little pricey.
It's not cheap. I guess the last week Warlock. The feats aren't going to set the world on fire. Like, we're not a faction who's going to show like, oh, we have like this Harusk feat that's just going to like run you over, or a Sheerus feat that just delays you for a whole turn. they're all very utility feats, except for Ragemonger. He's insane. The casters themselves are diverse and interesting, and they have really impactful abilities most of the time. But the feats aren't kind of where that power is. Like I said, except for Ragemonger, who just his feat is most of his kit. Weaknesses wise, like anybody who's bringing mortality has a grand old time into us. Turns off tough and makes our poor stat lines even worse, which is not a good time.
Yeah, no, that's no one has mortality though, right? No one plays Moraine.
Nah, not anymore.
So kind of talking about the casters, what in a 2-list pairing for 100 points, what do you think your like optimum pair is currently?
I think most of them are viable. I think your all-comers kind of starts with either Boomhowler or Foulblood, and you kind of build a infantry or mixed arms list off of that, and then you can kind of utility your way after that. So if you want a gun line, you can go Ragemonger. Shadow Tongue can kind of build whatever he wants and be his own utility for wherever he wants. I think, unfortunately, our worst casters right now are Firequill and Bugatti Bomb. They don't offer enough, I believe, at 100 points to really justify fitting themselves in a pair, unfortunately. Bugatti Bomb is a really fun caster. He does interesting things, but if he does any of those interesting things, he's probably dead. And Firequill helps his battle group out a lot, but his battle group tends to be extremely expensive point-wise. So his list fills up really fast with a handful of guns, and then that's kind of the whole list. I've seen Firequill work into things that really don't want to get shot, but in a pairing setting, you can kind of play your I don't want to get shot list, and he kind of doesn't do a whole lot. From a flavor perspective, they kind of knocked out of the park with like the characterization of all of these guys. If you look at every single one of the warlocks, they all have like a little pet. They all have an animal familiar that is kind of riding on them, which is really cool. Or Ragemonger's situation, he's riding on it.
Actually, I never really noticed that until you just said that. They all do.
Yeah, and they all actually have rules on their card based on the pets. So the Admiral Boomhowler has her little octopus, and it apparently is annoying, so she gains annoyance. Ragemonger has a shark who actually attacks you. Firequill has a starfish. The starfish itself has a pistol and shoots you. That's why he's got 3 of them. Shadow Tongue has sort of a skeletal dead bird thing, which is what gives him bird's eye, I guess. Foulblood,
Bird's eye is a great rule.
which is an incredible rule. Agreed. Foulblood has his little pet monkey, which gives him monkey bite. I don't think Bugatti Bomb has one, but he's not one of the official Brineblood casters, I guess. He's cadre.
Yeah, I'm not seeing one on his model.
And I don't believe he's got like a rule that kind of
The shaman,
to
the
a-
solo, has a toad on it or something on the hat.
Yeah, there's little tiny toads all over the Mogabaza and the Fugue Walker have toads all over them.
Okay. Yeah, I get to play against them quite a bit. I haven't actually sat and actually looked at the models, but they look pretty hard to paint. There's a lot of barnacles and rope and
Yes, if you are a impatient painter, that's one turnoff because they are extraordinarily detailed. And there's everybody's got all kinds of tchotchkes all over them. It's not like a regimented army like you would see with like Dusk or Orgoth, where it's like, okay, everybody's wearing the same armor. Every Marauder is different. He's all got a leather belt. They all have pistols with like brass on them, and they're all have like it's as much as you want to detail when it comes to their clothing because they're all hodgepodge. They're all different. So it's
yeah, because each Marauder is different, and then I think they have there's 2 different versions of them too.
Yep, there's 2 sets of Marauders, so there are 10 different Marauder models.
I mean, that's incredible that they took the time to do that.
It's part of why I like to play this faction. It's that when it comes to an aesthetic, one, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a lot of fun to look at. But they definitely like whoever's in charge of making these guys look like stuff. Like they definitely go all the way to the detail. Just look at Sully. Like Sully has no reason to be as detailed as he is for just a bird with bombs in his mouth, but he is incredible to look at and a fun model.
And that's in hips. which is
That is the foul blood box, which is all in hips, correct?
so we kind of hit on it, but your list making process. So you seem like you want to have Boom Howler, Foul Blood, and like one of them in the pair. And then it seems like Shadow Tongue or Ragemonger for what you want your other list to do. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think for your sort of safe list or however you want to construct your pair, Boomhowler and Foulblood play into a lot of things. They play into all scenarios. They can kind of be your catcher's mitt. And then Ragemonger and Shadow Tongue are very unique mechanics that if you're confident into a matchup and say, if I play Ragemonger here, I know I can remove this many models during my feat turn, and you can't play the game anymore. He has a place in a pairing. Shadow Tongue is essentially like you can kind of. I've built him so many ways. Like he does not care what you bring. He can bring 4 units of Marauders. He can bring 4 dire trolls. Like it's all over the place. But a lot of his game plan wraps around what he does every turn. So it's what is he gallowsing this turn? What is he black spotting this turn? What is he perditioning this turn? What work is he getting done to facilitate his army to play the game?
It sounds like
And
he has to go first almost every single turn.
a lot of the times, yes. Some of the times it's just going to be like, oh, I run a frog and within 5 year caster and he nukes you to death because now he's accuracy 8, accuracy 10 on his spells, which is funny.
So if you had to pick one caster out of the whole faction and you could only play that caster, which one would it be?
I'm kind of sad because she's not my pairing right now, but it'd be Boomy. Boomy is a lot of fun. Her battle plans are interesting. Her feat is not like incredible or like as good as some of the other defense skew feats. It does good work, especially for your heavies. And then her spell list supports basically everything. Avenging Force is great. Storm Rage is great for your solos. And it worst comes to worst, she can just come in with this power 18 charging Grievous Wounds sword and just do work. She's a lot of fun to play. I am currently playing Foul Blood instead of her right now, but who knows how that could shake out.
All right, I mean, he's been out now for like 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months.
How long has it been? It's been, what was it, February? Somewhere around then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right around then because it came in the Shadow and Scum box.
Mm-hmm. He's honestly really powerful in very specific ways and really niche, but I've found that Stumbling Drunk on heavies is just really strong. So they're really hard to commit on. His feat turn isn't super a lot to write home about, but being able to choose the direction in which you stumble can really like make your opponent think about whether they even want to attack certain things, which is interesting. Because like sometimes it's just like, do you want this heavy to come closer to you? If you shoot it, it's going to.
Is Stumbling Drunk only on ranged or is it on melee as well?
It's a really complexly worded feat. So his battle plan, and I say battle plan because this is the one you always use, unfortunately, is open bar. He makes everything friendly faction drunk within 10 inches of him. That's beasts, infantry, everything. His feat has 2 clauses. Stumbling Drunk warrior models, this is board wide. Stumbling Drunk warrior models have +3 armor. So if you have a tapper unit way out in Narnia off on the side of the board, they're going to get the armor as long as that tapper's there because he's giving the unit Stumbling Drunk. And if you stumble, again, this is board wide, you get to choose the direction you stumble. Not the distance because you're going to roll how far you go, but you get to choose the direction you stumble. It's a very caveated feat that's got like 3 unique effects that are all kind of add up to a very interesting puzzle for your opponent.
I mean, a board wide aura though is incredible.
It doesn't actually cover a ton of models, unfortunately, because the only things that can really make themselves Stumbling Drunk are Fugue Walkers and Tapper units. The other ones are dependent on being within 10 inches of him and having his battle plan up.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play against him yet, so that's definitely good to know.
Yeah, there's lots of gotchas with his game plan. Unfortunately, he kind of has the same problem of like, did you bring mortality? Oh, I'm having a bad time.
Well, any tips and tricks about that?
Sure. You play Storm Legion, right?
I sure do.
I do not want to see a Calder list that you can make a whole bunch of cavalry grievous wound and just annihilate what 3 dudes per cav model. They out threaten me by a mile. Your defensive skew feat doesn't really affect me all that much, but alphaing me with 2 grievous wounds cavalry does not sound like a good time for me.
Yeah, because that wipes off your front line and then they repo back.
Yep. Or repo and dig in so I can't charge, and now all of a sudden I'm just like, okay, well, how do I clear these chunky cav models? I wouldn't recommend you play Kane and try to shoot at us. It's a futile effort. Not a good time.
No, I tried when Kane first came out. Schwanky and I at a tournament, we tried that just to Kane into Boomy just to kind of see what it was like, and it was not a good time.
No.
For me.
The combination of the def skew and rough seas, it's like you don't want to have to boost to hit on all of your jack attacks because then you're not really doing enough damage with all of those attacks. And even when you boost to hit, sometimes dropping a 6 when you you roll a 1, 2, 3 otherwise is a bad time.
Yep. So I learned, because that's what you have to do, is you have to play those games.
Yep.
And see why it's bad.
I guess other more general tricks into us, I guess. Our game plan really relies on like not melting on our way up the table, and we are very prone to doing that. So like I said, mortality casters, anything that kind of debuffs your opponent's army, it's not a good time. Whether it's debuffing our speed, whether it's debuffing our defensive abilities. Anything with entropic force is not a great time for us. We really need to have a couple crucial toughs during the game to make it so that we don't very much lose in the attrition war. We have a very committal play style. Like we want to throw an entire unit of Marauders at something and clear that thing. Like that is what we want to do. Any list that really just can sit outside our threat ranges while wearing us down is it's not a great time for us.
All right. Is there any like synergies that can kind of help with that in the faction, or is there just really not many options for that? I know you have rough seas, but
it only helps into guns, and it only helps if we also have defense buffs on specific models. So if
which Boom Howler can give. That's
for what? Yes, and then duck and cover is also a great use of it too. The issue is like you can't have it on every unit if you brought a lot of units, right? So if you have rough seas up and your dudes are def 12, they're probably still getting hit reasonably by like rat 7 stuff.
Any like other kind of like synergies that might not be apparent that can kind of help with that? Like how are you trying to mitigate that?
Yeah, it's hard because like into offensive spell slingers, we don't have a lot of tools. Like we don't interact with spells very much. So if somebody wants to ashes us to death, there's really not a lot we can do about it.
Okay.
I think it's a unique aspect of the faction that like we're very weak into offensive spell casting.
So it sounds like you don't want to see like a few certain casters across the table.
No, we don't want to see Agathon. We don't want to see. I had an interesting game into Severin where he walked up, kill ordered a unit, and then cast Tempest on that unit, and I had to pick them all up because he doesn't even need to roll dice.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, because they're all knocked down and they all take power like 14s or whatever. So I'm like, oh, good. All right, well, I'll just shuffle these off along the Mortal Coil. That was rough.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen anyone cast Tempest.
There's a couple. Baranova's not bad at it, but it's very committal for her. I've seen Boris cast it once, and I don't remember why. That was incredible for me that they even racked it on Boris.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I don't.
It's a really good spell if you can knock an entire unit down, though.
It is. It definitely is. That's good to know. Again, that's not something I've seen because I haven't had anyone do that. I've been
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing a lot of Vilcol.
Oh yeah, she's really good into us too, just because her clouds turn off tough, so she can she has the choice of putting a cloud wall up to either delay a turn because we don't have any tech besides Shadow Tongue's Bird's Eye to deal with clouds. So either she can delay a turn, or on the turn that she goes in, she just puts clouds on top of my models so that they can't tough.
Yeah, and even with Shadow Tongue, I mean, she threatens what, 19 or
Yeah,
something.
I mean
So she's really far back from him, anyways.
yeah, she does have Prowl and Fog of War, I believe. So it's hard to. We don't have really any stealth tech in the faction. We have Flare on a 6-inch spray on a solo. That's about the extent of our anti-stealth tech.
Yeah, that's pretty short range and not that helpful.
So if you're stealth, I can't see you.
All right. So bring stealth models is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we do have a lot of like serviceable sprays in faction though, so it's not like we don't have any tools.
Yeah, I mean the quartermaster, I believe it gives the spray, right?
He has 2 sprays himself. He does not buff himself anymore with his mini feat, so he stays at Rat 6. But we have other ways of like the paralyzing gaze can work. Mark target can work. Like there's ways to get. You can always cast fortune on the unit. Like there's ways to make him easier to hit stuff. The battle break has sprays, but I've already told you about how that's it's been a rough time playing. The spray on the heavy is solid at range 12, and that one's boostable.
Okay, so it sounds like you. I mean, I know they're pirates, so they're not wearing armor, they're not. But it sounds like they really could use like a durable unit, like a unit of fugue walkers kind of type, like an elite unit like that.
Oh, that's what I really hoped the fire spitters were, but they ended up being kind of Marauders again. Unfortunately, I don't think they differentiate themselves enough. I would love to see like it would be really cool if there was like some slow moving cavalry, like a speed 7 crab cav that have like sidestep or something funny where they charge
Crab
sideways.
walk.
Like, we have sidestep, haha, get it. Like pygmy trolls riding crabs would be wonderful. Or something like there's one dude in the Marauder unit that has like a diving helmet on, like a bunch of dudes that are like in diving equipment gear that are like a little bit hardier, like a 3-man unit like that. I think that'd be really cool. The Lakabash brothers are not undurable, but they are Def 13 armor 14. They do have 10 boxes each and Sanguine Bond, so to the correct kind of attacks, they're hard to kill, but if something's hitting them with like power 17s, they just melt very quickly.
Right.
Which is their role. Their role is not to be like a heavy. If a heavy is hitting them, it's not a good time.
Yeah, no. Man, I really like that idea of the pigs riding crabs.
I know. I'm
That'd
like,
be
come
very on
on.
brand.
There's even like rules for this already in the game. Sidestep is crabs going sideways. Come on now. Give them carapace, you know.
Well, if SFG listens,
Yeah.
let's let it happen. Andy came up with it.
I will take no credit if you make it. I promise. Don't care. Just want to see it in the world.
I know you said you're going to WTC. List lock obviously hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you are most likely playing Trollbloods, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I am not coming off of Brian's. No spoilers here.
Okay. Just in case there's any, last minute changes. Locked in.
Don't worry. There's been plenty of WTC drama to worry about. I'm not one of them.
So, anything else you want to tell people about Brinebloods? Like, why should they play it?
I think if you are picking your first army, I think it's really important that you gel with the aesthetic of that army. So if you really want something more serious and more like this is an army, this is regimented, this is organized, I wouldn't go for Brinebloods. But if you like sort of like the rogue aspect, the scoundrel aspect, everybody's got a pistol that's going to shoot at you, that they take out of their back pocket, like that's this army. This army has all kinds of goofy flavor and all kinds of people that are not taking themselves very seriously. And the models are a lot of fun. So I think aesthetically is probably why you should pick Brinebloods if it gels with you aesthetically.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one who has to look at them the most.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because you got to paint all those barnacles.
Yeah, I'm looking at there's a lot of barnacles and lots of rope.
All kinds of tchotchkes and stuff everywhere. I was told they were careful with Chum to give him fewer barnacles, but I don't believe them.
Does he have a ton on him still?
He's got all kinds of stuff all over him. He's got little starfish and cuts and hooks and all kinds of stuff all over him.
Looks like he has a crab on his fin too.
Yeah, Erica says he's got a cute little tail. I forgot about the tail. Sorry.
So why don't you go ahead and plug what you guys got going on?
Yeah, so as of recording, this is the very beginning of August. The end of August, Labor Day, we run all the War Machine events at Nova Open in DC. We have a couple tickets left for most of the events, I think. If you want to come on down to DC, we give away free stuff the whole weekend. So there's all kinds of stuff to see, not just War Machine, but we would appreciate you coming to visit. I'm sure you'll be able to either at least play a narrative or hang out with like-minded people.
Do you guys have like extra tables for people to play pickup games?
Oh yeah, not for every time slot, but there's definitely places for demo games and for pickup free play.
Okay. And I know I was talking about this with Erica as well, but SFG is going there, so that's exciting. Do you know if they're running demos or are you guys running demos?
They will be running intro demos at their booth. So they'll be like very, very like starter demos for how to play the game. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of spoilers to give anybody. I am fingers crossed on things that I'm hoping they bring to the event, but no guarantees right now.
Well, that's going to be exciting. Um, with Tried and True, I mean, I always plug it on almost every single cast. The Community Finder. Where can they find that?
Oh, the community finders on our Discord, as well as our YouTube page, Delaware Machine Tried and True. It's sort of Erica's brother Paul and Dan Raven's baby. They developed it from scratch, and it's grown into way bigger than we thought it was ever going to be. So you can always take a look at the form on our Discord and apply to put a little dot on the map for yet another new location
Yep, and
for people play War Machine.
Yep, and that's even if you don't have anyone to play with. There's the looking for group option too.
Oh yeah, we've seen a lot of people like find each other where it's like, oh, there was a whole 8-man meta sitting here that just didn't know about each other this whole time.
Yeah, I did that. I looked randomly one day and saw there was a group playing in Corning, and now we get games in with them at tournaments.
Mhm.
So that was really nice.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's just that little push of just like you can't just hang out at your local game store every day, all day, try and hope somebody else plays the same game as you. It takes a little
Yep.
bit of information.
Yeah, and our store is stocking it, and they'll tell us that people who have never played or anything will come in, pick up the models because they think they look cool. And I have a QR code set up with it. No one's really like scanned it too much yet, but hoping here after we get like another tournament or two in at the store, it'll start picking up more traction.
That's awesome. So we play a lot of games down at Critical Hit in Maryland, and they're part of the Stockist program. So they have quite a lot of stock of everything, and it does seem to be flying off the shelf. So as long as they seem to be happy with stock and everything, so they had quite a bit of Old Umbry, and it is gone, like gone.
Yeah, our store has 2 boxes of the battle group left for Old Umbre, and that's with a few of us picking up the faction.
Yeah, and that was with people pre-ordering and picking up their pre-orders. We ordered extra, put on the shelf, and they just went.
Yeah, I think the stockist they have to keep 3 of each on the shelf.
Oh, is that the rules?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and then it rotates after. Once it gets to 4, once that 5th one comes out, the first one of those 4 falls off that they don't have to stock.
Oh, you mean like they
And
have certain numbers of factions?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what it originally was. I don't know if it still is. Um, but and then they offer buyback if they wanted to, if they want to sell it back to get other stuff.
Which makes sense. It's hard to move like the original like Storm Legion and Orgoth at this point in time if people haven't bothered to buy it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I went in today. I had to get some primer and noticed that they had the Fire Warrior cadre, and I unfortunately cringed a little bit because it had the Privateer Press symbol on it. So it's the older resin that did not survive transit too well.
From a Brinebloods perspective, if you can find the old ones, they actually are a slightly better value monetarily. I think they pulled the Fugue Walker out of the SFG one, so you got to buy that separately.
Oh,
And the old core box had 2 units of Marauders in it.
okay.
So just a little tip for anybody on the hunt for a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, and there's that resin is still light years better than their original Storm Legion and Kador that they released.
Yeah, I mean, from a 3D printed model perspective, the only ones I really have problems with are like the pygmy trolls. Their ankles tend to be a little weak, but everybody else tends to fit together very well.
Nice.
Yeah, they keep breaking on. The feet will stick to the base, and the rest of the model comes up into my hand. I'm like, oh no, your weak ankles.
Oh dear, that's unfortunate though.
They go back on. It's not a
I
total
mean,
loss.
the nice thing with the resin though, it is usually if it breaks, it's a clean break.
Yeah, it's usually like a shear, so you can kind of position
It
things pretty well.
glues back together pretty well
Mm.
most of the time. So again, Andy, thank you for coming on and doing this. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot because I don't get a lot of games in again. Like there's people who play Brinebloods, but I always end up seeming I get a Kador player or something.
There's not a ton of us out there. It's weird. I
Which is
did I had a lot of fun at Siege. The Siege Invitational this year had a lot of Brinebloods players, so it was fun to have a little Brinebloods powwow in person because you don't really see a lot of them out in the wild.
Did you feel a lot of the lists were samey, or was it kind of all over the place?
No, it was all over the place. I saw Firequill, I saw Bugatti Bomb, like I saw all kinds of stuff.
That's as it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we complain about Orgoth, but I also feel bad because they have the one caster.
It is the Harusk show.
Yes. Like I do wish they had other casters that felt as good to play or close.
I mean, this isn't really a balanced discussion, but my opinion
Yeah.
is I think Harusk is still entirely too good, and the things in that faction are balanced around him, and the rest of their casters just don't measure up to that level of support.
Yeah. Well, that's something we can talk about, say maybe January update time.
I can't imagine he won't at least be touched a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how things shake up WTC wise and where everyone kind of is on the factions and how the spread is, because that is the single biggest data source.
I know I have been looking at Longshanks, and I'm very disappointed in my Brinebloods players. We are the least played Mark IV faction right now, and I'm kind of sad about it. Not enough people stepping up to the plate.
We'll get some people playing.
I know, right?
Maybe this will help.
I hope so. Please play my faction. It's fun.
It does, like, the models look sweet. I just am a terrible painter, and I would paint one model and say this was so much.
My brother-in-law painted most of what I own, so I can't exactly extrapolate.
Oh well, speaking of that, he's doing the designing a lot of the tables for Nova, right?
Yeah. So for our narrative, he's printing a lot of the 3D terrain. We got all kinds of surprises for that. And he's for the past couple of years has really enjoyed like making thematic tables for the game. So last year we came out with a couple of fun Scorn tables with tents and desert themed cities and stuff like that. This year we're going to have a Cephalix themed table and a couple other surprises too.
Nice. I do remember last year people talking about the ladders on the Scorn table because that was new and different for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about verticality in the game right now. It's that's a bit of a sore subject, I think.
Okay. But again, Andy, thank you for taking time out of your day to come on and talk about this. It was a really good time.
I had a ball. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, and hopefully we can chat again sometime soon, and good luck at Nova and WTC.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you, Pat.